This is The Issue, and I am the Ghetto Man. Today's issues: spoils of war. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Live! Live! All live! All governments live!
Another socialist country, Venezuela, falls to the wayside. And now there's a dispute of who is the legitimate president of that country. Well, is that any of our business? Is that any of the United States business? Well, the answer to that is no. Well, once again, we're getting ready to intervene. We're to entangle ourselves with some foreign country or foreign entity. What? For the purpose of, helping them establish their form of government? Well, that's not how it's supposed to work. If we're going to get involved in Venezuela, or any country for that matter, first of all, we have to have a formal declaration of war, or a imminent threat to our border, which requires us to defend and enter into a war because we're being attacked. But otherwise, we have to have a declaration of war by an act of Congress. And in that declaration, it decides who the enemy is and, how much this war is going to cost and how long it's going to last and what is the purpose of it and how is it going to end. Well, if we're going to go to war as a nation, you don't go to war to assist another country to ward off an enemy so that they can preserve their lifestyle. That's up to them. If they want to fight for that, they can. If we're going to go into another country for any reason, in opposition to it, then that country must be conquered. And when it's conquered, the conqueror keeps the spoils of war. At very least, the country would become a United States territory. And if we really are looking to free the world, putting a country under our rule, under the Constitution, the laws of the Constitution, wouldn't that free these people? If we're the freest country on the earth, if we conquered a nation and took the spoils of war and brought that country in unto our country as a U.S. territory, or at best a state of the United States eventually, then and only then, based upon our laws, our definition of freedom, would we liberate that country. Anything less, putting any other person in charge of that country under whatever form of government those people choose, that's not our business. Not to change regimes. That's not our job. Regime change is out of the question. We either conquer it and keep the spoils of war, place everybody under our Constitution as a U.S. territory, and free them, because now they would be subject to our Bill of Rights and everything that our Constitution, all the constitutionally protected rights, they would receive that. And they would be liberated. Going down there and fighting their battles for them and kicking this person out and putting that person in and then allowing them to go ahead and decide on what form of government that they want, how is that our problem? Why should we spend our treasure and spill our blood so that another country can establish laws that that country wants? If that's what they want, let them fight for it. That's not our fight. But if they do want us to come down there and fight, or if we fight anyone, once it's done and we win and we conquer them, we keep the spoils of war. Venezuela will be another U.S. territory. And if it decides it wants to be a state, then it would be state 51, 52, 53, so to speak. I mean, we helped Kuwait. Remember, we went into Iraq to help Kuwait. Why didn't we just conquer Iraq and Kuwait and make them U.S. territories? Instead, we fought for those regimes so that they could keep their hereditary monarchies established. We fought and died so that they could keep, in Kuwait, their hereditary monarchies. That's not our job. We aren't the world's police. And the UN, which seems to be in control of all this, or at least having all the suggestions that we should do, has no authority over the United States whatsoever. The UN cannot supersede the United States Constitution. We have to stop interfering with other countries' affairs. Now, I feel bad for the Venezuelan people, but they're the ones who decided that socialism, which never works, and everybody knows that. I mean, all you have to do is look at history when it comes to socialism and communism, and all communism is socialism by force. It fails every single time. I mean, in this country, we have people that are being elected that support and represent completely foreign and alien ideologies when it comes to our constitutional republic. They take an oath to uphold and defend the constitutions, while their political party, their political persuasion, telling you prior to them even running the office that their sole purpose is to enter into our political arena and then overthrow the Constitution, the very document that they take an oath to uphold and defend. And they also, in that oath or affirmation, they also agree that they're not taking this oath for the purpose of evading the oath. We have a Congress now, and when you talked about the Democrats represent everything that is foreign and alien to our constitutional republic. The one form of government, as we've discussed before, that our founding fathers absolutely despised was the democratic form of government. They wanted nothing to do with democracy. So the very fact that somebody belongs to the Democratic Party, claims to be a Democrat, cannot, under any circumstances, take the oath and uphold and defend the Constitution, because their political party already told you that their purpose was not to support a Republican form of government, but to bring in democracy. And because democracy is just an amalgamation of every vile and disgusting form of government there is on the planet, everything comes into our country under this democratic process or democratic party. I mean, we're talking everything. We got fascism, we got communism, we've got socialism, we've got every vile and disgusting form of government that is all amalgamated into the Democratic Party. Now, don't get me wrong. The Republican Party has been infiltrated with people who support the same things. They don't support a Republican form of government. All we call those undocumented Democrats or rhinos, Republican in name only. But right now, when it comes to one party that we can completely eradicate because there is nothing that party represents that remotely relates to the preservation of our constitutional republic and our Republican form of government, is the Democratic Party. So I don't want to sit there and people say, well, you pick on the Democratic Party too much. No, the Democratic Party is irreversibly corrupt. There's nothing about it, not even its name, that is constitutional. It's just an amalgamation of the most vile and disgusting political ideas that have ever come out of the minds of a reprobate. And it's time that we recognize that. Now, if we're going to go into Venezuela and we're going to do anything at all, I mean, if we're going to send down aid, what good is it if the so-called president is going to burn it and destroy it? It's time to have a formal declaration of war against the rogue state of Venezuela. We go down there and we conquer that nation. We turn it into a United States territory. Then everybody in Venezuela will be using our money. They'll be under our laws. They'll have our courts, at least at the federal level. And then once they decide that they want to be part of this union, then they can apply for statehood, and we can take things from there. But it's just going down there and fighting their battles so that they can continue with whatever political structure that they're trying to establish down there, other than the only political structure that would literally free them, and that is our form of government, our constitutional republic, where people's inalienable rights are protected by contract. We need to make a decision. Do not, under any circumstances, fight somebody else's battles for them. Either we let them fight their battle on their own, let these people decide if they want to go ahead and continue to be raped and robbed by a socialist regime, to go ahead and do that. Or they can make a choice, and we can go ahead and conquer them, and they can enter the Union, or they can apply for a territorial status with the United States. Then they become us, and we expand our freedom to another country that has been oppressed by those people, like those that are in the Democratic Party. Cocaine Cortez. I mean, she makes it very clear to you that she is not there to serve you pursuant to the Constitution. She's there to rule you. She is the boss. This woman does not qualify to be in office. She's already committed perjury. She took an oath or affirmation to uphold and defend the United States Constitution, our Republican form of government, and she's in there pushing a oxymoron, democratic socialism. There is no democratic process in socialism. Ask the Venezuelan how that's working out for them, or how that's worked out in any other country that doesn't have a constitutional or contractual form of government. Anyway, I needed to get that off my chest because so many times when I hear that we're going to go ahead and intervene in another country, where we're going to go in there and we're going to get rid of this ISIS or any other faction that we consider to be a terrorist organization, and we go into that country and get rid of that faction without claiming that the country that we have won the war in is now spoils of war and belongs to the United States, then we should not interfere. If you want us to come in, then join us. Join the Union. But we're not going to come over here and fight your battles so that you can have this so-called freedom to set up whatever government you want. If you want to go ahead and set up whatever freaking government you want, then you can do that without our help. Set it up. Obviously, you can't do anything. If you expect us to come in and help you, then you better get ready to be conquered and become spoils of war. And if you think our help is so important, then you wouldn't object to being absorbed into our country as a United States territory and then be subject to the freedoms that the rest of us in this country enjoy. No political intervention, no combining our forces with the Venezuelan forces. We either go down there, take care of the problem, keep the spoils of war, or mind our own business. This is the Ghetto Man. Thank you for watching. And if you're politically correct, then you're legally wrong. And if you're not part of the solution, then you're the problem. Please subscribe to my BitChute channel, and please share.